Elections in Scotland give you a say in who represents you. But to make sure your voice is heard, it's good to understand a few basics about how elections work. At each election, every voter is given a ballot paper. This ballot paper lists all the candidates, which is what we call people standing for election. This ballot paper also provides simple instructions on how many candidates you're allowed to vote for and how to clearly mark your choice. You'll get to make your choice in secret, and then your ballot paper will be counted to work out who has been elected. In Scotland, we use 3 different voting systems. These voting systems affect the number of people you can vote for at each election. Sometimes one person, sometimes more. And these voting systems also set out the rules for how your vote is counted. Additional member system. We use a voting system called the Additional Member System to elect members of the Scottish Parliament, or MSPs for short. The Additional Member System is a form of proportional representation. Proportional representation means the number of candidates elected for each political party roughly matches the number of votes received. Everyone in Scotland is represented by 8 members of the Scottish Parliament. 1 represents your local area, called a constituency, and 7 others represent a larger area known as your region. For example, if you live on the Isle of Skye, you have 1 local MSP who represents Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch, and 7 MSPs who represent the larger Highlands and Islands region. When voting in an election which uses the Additional Member System, you'll be given 2 ballot papers and you get 2 votes, 1 for your constituency MSP and 1 for your regional MSPs. Make sure you read the instructions on your ballot papers and ask the team at the polling station if you need help. To vote for your constituency MSP, simply mark an X in the box next to their name on the constituency ballot paper. When the votes are counted, the candidate with the most votes is elected as your representative. The vote for your regional MSPs is slightly different. The regional ballot paper lists all the political parties and individual candidates standing in your region. Each political party will publish a list of candidates in advance. The candidates are listed in priority order, with the candidates they're most keen to get elected at the top. Every time they gain a regional seat, they give it to the next person on their list. To vote for your regional MSPs, simply mark an X in the box next to the political party or individual candidate you support. This doesn't have to be the same political party as your constituency vote, but it can be if you like. The regional ballot papers are then counted. The people counting look at how many constituency seats a party won in that region. They then add additional members from the political party lists or individual candidates so that the share of seats gained by each party roughly matches how people in that region of Scotland voted on the regional ballot paper. First past the post. We use a voting system called First Past the Post to elect members of the UK Parliament, or MPs for short. When you vote in an election which uses First Past the Post, you'll be given 1 ballot paper. At a UK Parliament general election, you're allowed to vote for 1 person. Simply mark an X in the box next to their name. When the votes are counted, the candidate with the most votes is elected and will represent you and your local area. Single transferable vote. We use a voting system called Single Transferable Vote to elect local councillors in Scotland who look after issues specific to your local area. The Single Transferable Vote system is a form of proportional representation. Rather than 1 person representing everyone in a small area, bigger areas elect a small team of representatives. These representatives reflect the range of opinions in the area. When voting in an election which uses a single transferable vote system, you'll be given 1 ballot paper. The instructions on the ballot paper will tell you to rank the candidates in order of preference. Mark a 1 next to your first choice, 2 next to your second, 3 by your third, and so on. You don't have to put a number next to every candidate on the ballot paper, but the impact of your vote could be limited if you only make 1 or 2 choices. The numbers tell the people counting to move your vote if your favourite candidate has enough votes already, or stands no chance of winning. To get elected, a candidate needs a set amount of votes, known as the quota. The people counting the votes work out the quota based on the number of seats available and the total number of votes cast. Counting takes place in stages. Each time the people who are counting are looking to see whether a candidate has reached the quota of votes they need to be elected. If not, the person with the lowest number of votes will be removed from the race. For example, once the first round of counting has finished, any candidate who has more number ones than the quota is elected. But rather than ignoring the extra votes this candidate received above the quota, these votes move to each voter's second favourite candidate. Once the second round of counting is finished, if no one reaches the quota, then the least popular candidate is removed. People who voted for them have their votes moved to their second favourite candidate. This process continues until every position is filled. This shows how important all your choices can be when voting in an election using single transferable vote. If your first choice candidate doesn't get elected, or if they are elected with a lot more votes than the next candidate, your vote can still be used to help elect your second choice. Your vote could be moved around many times, playing a part in electing some or all the positions in your area. Don't forget that if you're unsure about how to cast your vote, you can always ask for help. Speak to a member of the team at the polling station, or get in touch with your local elections team. Find out more at electoralcommission.org.uk/learning.